Hello, everyone. Even more fearless than Darth Sidious, the Sith Lord of the Acolyte has already shown himself to be a very skilled practitioner of the dark side. The primary enemy of the entire Skywalker saga of Star Wars films was Emperor Palpatine, the covert Sith Lord Darth Sidious. He was undoubtedly one of the strongest Sith in history, and he almost brought the Jedi to ruin. Palpatine was the most successful Sith Lord of all time thanks to his political scheming in Order 66. Yet an even more audacious Sith Lord from earlier times managed to accomplish something that Palpatine was never able to. The history of the Sith Lords preceding Palpatine is largely unknown. Star Wars legends studied many of these Sith Lords, including Darth Plagueis and Darth Tenebrous, but only 36 were brought into canon, and most of them were simply mentioned by name. That's because the Sith were thought to have been in hiding from the Jedi for almost a millennium. But the Acolyte's Sith Lord demonstrated that they had not been. The Sith Lords revealed themselves to the Jedi in the Acolyte Episode 4, and they also made an effort at something that not even Palpatine had done before. The Sith Lord presented himself to the group of Jedi looking for Kelnaka at the end of the Acolyte Episode 4, and it appears that they will be fighting every Jedi simultaneously. That gang consisted of 8 Jedi, including the Jedi Master Saul, making them an extremely potent force. The Sith Lord didn't seem to be deterred, though, as they easily pushed all of the Jedi back with a powerful Force blast, and it doesn't appear like they'll face much difficulties in the upcoming battle. It would seem impossible to defeat a group of 8 Jedi, and even Palpatine would never have dared try. When Mace Windu, Kit Fisto, Agen Kohler, and CC-10 tried to arrest him in Revenge of the Sith, that was the most Jedi he had ever engaged in combat at once. 3 of them were easily vanquished by Palpatine, but if Anakin Skywalker hadn't been present, Mace Windu would have triumphed. Palpatine faced just 4 Jedi in his duel, and he engaged them solely out of necessity, whereas the Sith Lord of the Acolyte pursued them and engaged in combat with twice as many opponents. The Sith Lord of the Acolyte must have been extremely strong if they were prepared to face off against a large number of adept Jedi at once. However, given how brief the fight was in the Acolyte Episode 4, it's difficult to gauge their potential strength. However, there is one significant clue regarding their power. In the final scene of Acolyte Episode 4, the Sith Lord used the Force to forcefully shove every Jedi away at once, which would be a challenging task. It's evidence of their extreme strength on the dark side and their centuries-old superpower. There was a Sith Lord by the name of Darth Bane who lived hundreds of years before the Acolyte. The Sith Rule of 2, which restricted the Sith to having only one master and one pupil at a time, is primarily credited to him. In addition to keeping the Sith hidden and out of the Jedi's sight, the Rule of 2 served to strengthen the Sith's hold on power and ensure that it continued to expand across the centuries. Every trainee wanted to become as knowledgeable as possible from their masters, and consequently from all the Sith who had come before them, in order to kill them and become in their place. Every Sith Lord and student had far greater power than the Sith Lords before Bane, who were on par with Jedi, because of the Rule of 2. Every generation after that saw them surpass their masters in power as well. The Sith Lord would have accumulated a lifetime's worth of personal power consolidation and over 900 years of study into the dark side of the Force by the time of the Acolyte. Furthermore, the Acolyte Sith Lord has prior experience fighting Jedi because all Sith Acolytes were required to kill a Jedi in order to be accepted as apprentices. If battling alongside 8 other Jedi isn't dangerous, the Sith Lord of the Acolyte might be even more fearless and nearly as strong as Palpatine. That would demonstrate that any number of Sith Lords would have been powerful enough to pose a real threat to the Jedi, adding to the Sith's already terrifying demeanor. Palpatine was the only Sith Lord who was genuinely able to annihilate the Jedi, as the Sith Lord of the Acolyte could even demonstrate. Palpatine prevailed not because he was very strong, but rather because he was exceptionally intelligent and subdued the Jedi before striking. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.